the fact that the people who are getting the big crowds, right, AOC and Bernie, going around the country, thank you, there's that same guy. I call him the always wrong guy. Okay, but I feel like, big crowds, again, the shiny object that the Democrats chase. It's not about the big crowds.
BillMaher is at it again, delivering another biting takedown, this time aimed at none other than Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, often dubbed the Queen of Woke.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun.
The comedian didn't hold back, ripping into the notion of AOC as a serious presidential contender. In Maher's view, she's far too woke to lead the Democratic Party. He even half-joked that the DNC might be better off with someone who carries the brass and bravado of Donald Trump. And Maher wasn't the only one. His remarks sparked a firestorm, with others quickly piling on and branding the idea of an AOC-led ticket as nothing short of political suicide. Love him or hate him, Maher has a knack for stirring the pot, and this time his warning is one the Democrats can't easily ignore. So, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, grab some popcorn, and let's dive into the chaos surrounding AOC 2028. We'll start with a throwback clip for some perspective, and a dose of context that really counts.
Not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
You've seen this before, and I've covered it in detail already, so I won't dwell on it too long. I'm showing this clip to set the stage for what's coming next. Yes, AOC is packing big crowds everywhere she goes, and I'll give her credit for that. But as BillMaher rightly pointed out, rallies don't decide elections. Votes do. Remember Kamala Harris? She had the fans, the flash, and half of Hollywood swooning. She had the buzz, the endorsements, and the media hype machine behind her. Yet we all know how that ended, with one of the most underwhelming campaigns in recent history. Popularity isn't the same as electability. As Maher put it, charisma might get you applause, but it won't get you Pennsylvania. And he's not alone. Even voices on the left have taken aim at AOC. For example, blasting her claim that Trump is weaponizing the Justice Department. Take a listen.
Other Democrats are watching their words.
I think it's certainly possible, but I'm not sure. I mean, I cannot think of or point to any individuals who have said that. I do think that there are Democratic members of Congress who are preparing for that possibility.
How do they prepare?
I think they look to the possibility of litigation. I think they're saying, do we have the best teams possible in order to carry out our work?
Some Republican, or many perhaps, will be watching this, listening to this, and thinking, wait a minute, actually, you're the ones who are prosecuting us. You are the guys who are weaponizing the Justice Department. How would you respond to somebody who may be thinking that?
In what way? In what way?
Did you catch that awkward pause, that slight hesitation in AOC's voice? It was almost like she never saw that question coming. Honestly, I didn't either, especially not from NPR, which is usually friendly ground for Democrats. But credit where it's due, the question was completely fair. Democrats love to hammer Trump for allegedly weaponizing the Justice Department, yet they seem to forget their own track record of doing the exact same thing, often against Trump himself. What's interesting here is watching AOC scramble to justify that double standard. She's normally quick and media savvy, but this one clearly caught her off guard. You can see the gears turning, pausing, recalibrating, searching for the right spin. And if this is how she stumbles over a single fair question, just imagine what happens if the media actually starts pressing her harder. Let's watch how she tries to wriggle out of this one.
Is the very presence
Putting Trump on trial would be their example, I suppose.
Yes. I mean, here's the deal. In the United States, there is a jury where we are judged by our peers, and he was found guilty in court on 34 felony charges. If people want to say it was weaponized, I mean, it is hard-pressed to say that there's a partisan argument for it.
Now that is pure comedy. Watching the usually sharp-tongued, media-polished AOC stumble for words is downright entertaining. She's clearly reaching, scrambling to defend how her party weaponized the DOJ to sideline Trump. Her go-to defense: that Trump was tried by a jury of his peers and found guilty. Fine, let's go with that. But if that's the standard they are so proud of, why the outrage when the tables start to turn? Why does the justice system only work when it's aimed at their opponents, but suddenly becomes broken the moment it points their way? The hypocrisy is staggering. It's the same tired double standard, rules for thee, not for me. And the irony, almost too rich to ignore. If accountability is real, it should cut both ways.
You had a recent dispute, if that's the right word, with Tom Homan, the president's Homeland Security czar, so-called. You held an online forum, a Know Your Rights forum, that he didn't like. What were you doing? What was your goal as you saw it?
My job is to educate and act as a liaison of critical information to my constituents. And I was informing all of my constituents of their constitutional protections, and in particular, their constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure in the United States.
Homan was upset, I suppose, because he felt that you were giving advice to people who were here illegally. Were you?
I was giving advice to all of my constituents.
And once again, AOC gets tangled in her own web. And how does she respond? By doing what she does best, spinning and sidestepping. She flat out dodged the question. Did you catch the wordplay? She claimed she was giving advice to her constituents about their rights. But that's not what was asked. The interviewer's question was crystal clear. Was she giving advice to illegal immigrants? She couldn't admit that without creating a political firestorm. So instead, she swapped out illegal immigrants for constituents, a term that usually refers to legal residents or citizens. That's not clever. That's a calculated deflection. Honestly, I'm starting to wonder if AOC is nearly as sharp as the media hype suggests. This wasn't some masterclass in political maneuvering. It was a weak dodge. And the fact that she thought no one would notice, that's the real joke. And we saw the same thing play out about a year ago when she went head-to-head with Tom Homan.
Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo?
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation?
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Ouch, that had to sting. Honestly, it's hard to even follow what AOC was trying to argue here. Her logic is all over the map. The reality is simple. The U.S. cannot and should not detain both parent and child together in every immigration case. If someone is caught crossing illegally with a child, some form of separation is unavoidable. That's just legal and logistical fact. Yet AOC keeps pushing an emotional narrative, conveniently ignoring that the same standards apply to American citizens. If a U.S. citizen is arrested, say, for a DUI, and separated from their child, no one calls it a human rights crisis. But when it's an illegal immigrant, suddenly it's treated as national outrage. That's the double standard she keeps promoting. It's why I keep saying AOC puts the interests of illegal immigrants ahead of law-abiding Americans. She's not fighting for justice. She's fighting for political points. The logic falls apart, the emotion is weaponized, and the hypocrisy couldn't be more obvious. Homan, however, isn't fazed. He doubles down.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their...
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're in the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Boom. Just like that, AOC scurries off like a cat caught in the spotlight, unable to handle the pressure once Tom Homan turned up the heat at the hearing. This is what happens when performative outrage collides with cold, hard facts. Homan didn't raise his voice or lean on theatrics. He simply laid out the law and due process, plain and simple. If someone truly seeks asylum, there's a legal pathway for that. Sneaking across the border doesn't grant immunity from the law. But AOC, as usual, tried to spin it into a morality tale, one that conveniently ignores law, order, and fairness. Faced with logic and the realities of border enforcement,
you're going to cut this and you're going to clip this so that it's completely out of context. I already said that it was, and y'all are just going to pretend that it wasn't over and over again. It's up, man. If you're not helping these people, and you're not helping them.
You refuse to.
You're not helping them.
Wasn't she the one who advised lefties like her to make Republicans feel uncomfortable in public, to get in their faces? Well, honey, call this instant karma.
You refuse to call it a genocide in front of everybody.
I need you to understand.
It's not okay that there's a genocide happening. You're not actively against it.
You're lying.
I'm lying.
You're not.
You went on TV and avoided talking about it.
and that's exactly what it feels like when you're forced to swallow the very medicine you've been dishing out to others. Uncomfortable, isn't it? As I've said before, these so-called activists are often just hypocrites hiding behind buzzwords and selective outrage. That's why their moral lectures should always be taken with a heavy dose of skepticism. So if you're wondering why AOC looked visibly embarrassed, here's your answer. She outright refused to call what Hamas did to Israel last year genocide. Let that sink in. If the roles had been reversed, she wouldn't have hesitated for a second to brand it a genocide, hashtags, outrage, and tearful interviews included. But because it doesn't fit her narrative, suddenly it's complicated. Suddenly, she's silent. This isn't about justice or truth, it's about politics and performative sympathy. The double standard couldn't be clearer, and the moral compass is nowhere to be found. That's why her credibility keeps crumbling when exposed to real scrutiny.
It's the modern Democrats. They're the party of neo-Marxists like AOC and Bernie Sanders. They're leading the party right now, leading them straight to the depths of hell.
This isn't just about Republicans either. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too.
We have a message for Mr. Trump. And that is, we will not allow you to move this country into an oligarchy.
BillMaher nailed it. An AOC Sanders ticket wouldn't just be a bad idea, it would be political suicide for the Democrats. This isn't strategy, it's delusion. Both AOC and Sanders thrive on optics over outcomes, on grandstanding over governance. Sanders rails against the oligarchy, yet is perfectly comfortable operating inside a party dominated by corporate elites and political insiders. The irony is glaring. As for AOC, she lacks the depth, experience, and intellectual grounding to be taken seriously on a national ticket. Her appeal rests more on viral clips and social media buzz than on substance or leadership. Elevating figures like AOC and Sanders may fire up the far-left base, but it alienates the voters Democrats actually need to win. If the party keeps chasing ideological purity and emotional theatrics, they won't just lose elections, they'll implode. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the bell and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.